economic liberty with no concern for justice, just economic liberty, me, myself, and I, and no concern for justice, opens the door to another form of domination, corporate domination. The domination by the corporations over the people. They say, well, we're concerned about socialism, the government taking over the economy. No, sir, that's not the threat. It's the opposite. The corporations are taking over our government, and we are going to stop them.
I'm going to introduce somebody that I really admire, and I'm going to tell you why I admire Van Jones. It's not because he founded the Bay Area Police Watch and the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights and helped create accountability and equal justice between law enforcement and the San Francisco community. It's not because he founded another organization called Color of Change to promote and empower political activism in the African American community and make government accountable to that community and its needs. Or that by 2005, Van had begun to lead the movement to connect social justice and equal opportunity with the need for a green economy and living sustainably, and that this led to the founding of a movement called Green for All. It's not even that he wrote an award-winning best-selling book called The Green Collar Economy, which totally exploded the lie that prosperity and a strong middle class and American competitiveness were mutually exclusive with living sustainably. It's not because he was the first ever special advisor for green jobs and innovation to serve on the White House Council for Environmental Quality, or that he's a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, or that he teaches at Princeton University. Are you exhausted by this guy's life yet? It's not even that he's written another great book called Rebuild the Dream, which has led to the founding of this great advocacy organization, which we're here supporting. It's not even that when I was on a panel once with him and the Dalai Lama, it was a toss-up as to who was the wisest person on the stage, Van or the Lama. And it's not even because Van's own sister described him as a kid as a stereotypical geek who just kind of lived in his head a lot, or that he used his Star Wars action figures to recreate civil rights dramas with Luke Skywalker playing JFK and Han Solo playing Bobby Kennedy and Lando Calrissian playing Martin Luther King Jr., although that is truly hilarious and makes me love him. I admire Van for all those reasons, but I really admire Van, and what I want you to think about is that in 1993, when he graduated from Yale University, from Yale Law School, just think for a moment about what choices are available to a good-looking, young, super smart guy with a law degree from Yale in Washington, D.C. or on Wall Street. Think about the ways that a guy like Van Jones could have opted to enrich himself, to glorify himself, to make a name for himself, and work on building Van Jones's own American dream. And instead, at that moment, he moved to San Francisco and he started working on making sure that there was an American dream available to everybody. And I think that if more people aspired to be like Van Jones, if more young people made the kinds of choices that Van has made to commit their energy and talent to the idea that our own enrichment is tied to the welfare and the happiness of others, we would have a safer country, we would have a more prosperous, healthy country, we'd be fighting fewer wars in foreign countries, and the American dream would be the envy of everybody in the world again. And that choice to commit his life to the direction that he has with everything else available to him is why I admire Van Jones. So please stop what you're doing and pay attention, because this is a man who's worth listening to. Van Jones.
Edward Norton, y'all. Edward Norton. Well, I'm honored to be here. I'm carrying my new book like a baby. You know, I'm like, oh, I got my book. I want to change his little diaper, give him a little bottle. I'll talk about that in a second. I'm so happy to look out there and see all the beautiful people who are here. But I just want to say a few words about some of the people who are not here. Trayvon is not here. We have people who were sent overseas allegedly to fight for their country who won't come back, and they're dead folks overseas. They're not here. We got people 40 million people who don't have health insurance. Very few of them are able to come here. So I want to point out that there's a little bit of a contradiction. I just want to own it. To have such a beautiful celebration in the face of the pain. Let's talk about it. Don't forget what America was like before Occupy Wall Street happened. Don't forget that all of us, this great country, for all of our wealth, all of our affluence, for all the politically empowered people, it was the politically powerful people who were afraid to speak the word Wall Street, who were afraid to speak the word that there was a financial elite ripping off the country. All of the powerful people had fallen silent. It was the powerless people. It was the young people. It was the broke people. It was the folks who had come home from those wars. It was the folks who had done the right thing and graduated off a cliff into the worst job market with no support. The so-called powerless, who were the only ones who had the courage, the only ones who had the imagination, the only ones who had the audacity to stand up and to rip the gag out of the mouths of the American people and say, we deserve more and we deserve better. We're a better country than this. Thank you, Occupy Wall Street. Thank you, Occupy Los Angeles. Thank you, occupiers. And it reminds me of some young people, my father's generation, who were also occupiers. They occupied the lunch counters in their day. They occupied the segregated buses in their day. And they were beaten. Some of them lost their lives because they too were occupiers. They occupied democracy. And as a result of their genius and their courage, the whole country stood up and stood with them. And we live in a better country. Our country is permanently better because of the occupiers in my father's generation. And so, what is our responsibility? Those of us who did not risk arrest, those of us who did not take a bullet, rubber or otherwise, those of us who did not get pepper sprayed, as springtime comes, and we know that this movement is going to revive. We have a responsibility from the top to the bottom of this society to say that the economy should not just work for the 1%, it should work for the 100%, and that's why we're here, to make sure the economy works for the 100% and not just the 1%. It's about simple stuff. These reporters keep asking, what is this all about? I'm just, okay, you've got the pictures here, you've got celebrities, you have these Occupy people. What is this all about? It's about justice. It's about justice. And justice is a word that, having spent about 6 months in Washington, D.C. working in the White House, some of you guys may know I worked in the White House. Best 6 months of my life, followed by the worst 2 weeks. So if you don't know that story, you can Google it. But the word justice the word justice. I hear a lot about liberty now from the so-called libertarians. And they say the only thing that matters in America is liberty. That's what they say. They say America has only one value, liberty, and economic liberty, my economic liberty. And if you stand for any other value, you're anti-American. And they've taken their despicable ideology and they're using it as a wrecking ball that they painted red, white, and blue to smash down every good thing in America. They want to smash down American education, but they call themselves patriots. They want to smash down America's unions, but they call themselves patriots. They consciously say they want to defund America's government. They say they want to be able, Grover Norquist, their great leader, says he wants to shrink America's government to the point where it can be drowned in a bathtub. That's their great leader. That's not a very patriotic statement. They say they're patriots, but they hate everybody in America who looks like us. They say they love America, but they hate the people, the brown folk and the gays and the lesbians, the people with all these piercings and tattoos, y'all. When they say they love America, they don't mean you. They don't mean me. And so it's time for us to take the country away from this cheap patriotism. It's time to take the country away from this cheap patriotism and stand for some deep patriotism. Now let me tell you what deep patriotism is. You know, you're not a deep patriot if you teach your kid to sing America the Beautiful, but then you do nothing when the oil spillers and the clear cutters and the mountaintop removers come to destroy America's beauty to make money for corporations. You're not a patriot if that's your position with regard to the environment. You can't call yourself a patriot if all you want to do is go look at the Statue of Liberty and talk about how beautiful it is and get your picture taken and post your picture on Facebook. You know how your cousin does. You know your right-wing cousin that you can't even talk to at Thanksgiving, always posting what a patriot he or she is. They love going to New York City, and they love posting I just had to take my child to see America's beauty. You like the Statue of Liberty? Read the poem at the base of that statue. Give me your tired. Give me your poor. Give me your huddled masses who yearn to breathe free. You can't be an anti-immigrant bigot and a patriot at the same time. Those two things don't go together. Those two things don't go together. And we're tired of it. We're tired of it. You talk about liberty all the time and use that as an excuse to endanger the liberties of the country by handing America over to these global corporations. Well, I got a son in second grade that can tell you the last word in the Pledge of Allegiance is not liberty. It's not liberty. It's liberty and justice for all. Liberty and justice for all. That's deep patriotism. That's true patriotism. Now, we know from the last century, if all you care about is justice, and you don't care about anybody's individual liberty, you get totalitarianism. We don't want that. That's the view. We learned that in the last century. Justice without liberty gives you government domination. But in this century, we were learning something else. We're learning the other half. Economic liberty with no concern for justice. Just economic liberty, me, myself, and I, and no concern for justice opens the door to another form of domination, corporate domination. The domination by the corporations over the people. They say, well, we're concerned about socialism, the government taking over the economy. No, sir, that's not the threat. It's the opposite. The corporations are taking over our government, and we are going to stop them. We are going to stop them because See, America's values are simple, but they're not simplistic. And when you just take the one American value that serves your interests and run over every other American value, eventually the American people stand up. And thank goodness that this new generation and the older folks who joined them decided to stand up first. This new generation decided to say that they were not going to be bulldozed and run over and left behind by folks who want to take from America and give nothing back. See, the rich should be proud, the wealthy should be proud to pay America back for the goodness of this country. We've done a good job setting up our business leaders, giving them good roads and clean water and a good court system and everything they need so their entrepreneurial vision can prosper. And we're proud of them. We are not mad at somebody just because they're wealthy. We like economic winners. We hate economic cheaters. It's the cheaters that we're tired of. It's the people who are buying the system. If you want to buy a yacht, good for you. Some working class man or woman made that yacht. If you want to buy a yacht, good for you. If you want to buy a congressman or a governor, we got a problem. We got a problem. That's all. That's all. Quit rigging the system. Quit rigging the system. Quit taking from the country. Pay America back. Be proud to pay your taxes. Be proud to give something back for the next kid to have a shot at maybe making it too. And that's why we're here. And so I want to say in closing, this movement is about to get interesting. This movement is about to get interesting. Because you got 99%ers and 1%ers too, starting to stand together. You got people in the 99% and at the bottom of the 99% who think that something's gone wrong in America, who think that corporations shouldn't be running our campaigns, who think that we should have clean air and clean water, who think that calling the EPA a job killer and not paying attention to the fact that they are preventing corporations from being people killers, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. And we have people who are at the top of the 1% in this room who agree. If you have a movement that's the 99% versus the 1%, it's hard to predict the outcome. But when it's a 99% for the 100%, the 99% for the 100%, everybody needs to be a part of fixing this mess. Everybody needs to stand together. That movement cannot be stopped until it achieves liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey. Now, hold your applause because I told you it's about to get interesting, didn't I? I appreciate the warm welcome that you gave Edward Norton. And give Edward Norton another round of applause. And I appreciate the warm welcome that you gave me. Give me and my book another round of applause. Thank you very much. Rebuild the Dream, on sale now. But now it's time for you to get ready to give a real applause. I'm bringing to you a true hero, a shero, let me get it right, of the 99%, a true shero. Kendra Moore has been a part of the movement to make Venice a beacon for 20 years. But that's a short period of time compared to the amount of time her family has been here fighting for justice in the community for not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 generations her family has been here. That's one of the reasons why she was able to win the fight to bring $100 million of affordable housing to the community. It goes to show that, wait. It goes to show that somebody from the 99% can swing a bat with as many dollars as the 1% and keep it moving. This is Kendra Moore. Real applause. Real applause. Real applause. Kendra Moore.
Thank you, Van. Can we give Van another hand? Hi, I am Kendra Moore, and I am the 99%. 55 years ago, 3 generations of my family got on the bus in Dallas, Texas, and moved to Venice to seek a better life. My great-great-grandmother, Georgia, my grandmother, Ruby Lee, and my mother. We have been living in Venice ever since. 6 generations strong. We have roots here, but it hasn't been easy. 20 years ago, developers started driving through our neighborhoods. They wanted to flip our houses and build luxury condos. They showed up with suitcases full of money. They scammed us with predatory loans. They forced people into foreclosures. Black and brown families like mine were disappearing, replaced with fancy cars and movie stars. Police started harassing us, especially our young men. One day, I was visiting my sister-in-law, and I got a phone call that the police had kicked in my door. They destroyed my children's rooms, tore up my couch, emptied all of my drawers, ransacked my house. I was faced with a choice: be pushed out or fight back. I chose to fight back. And I chose to fight back. And I've been fighting ever since, saving affordable housing, improving public education, protecting Social Security, demanding immigrant rights, because we have a responsibility to each other, a responsibility to rebuild the dream, you and I. Nobody is born a leader. You make the decision to become one. But one person can't do it alone. We have to invite our family, our friends, our neighbors, and our churches. Who will you invite? Justice is not a one-time thing. It's an every-time thing. It's not just about going to one rally or one protest or one wonderful event with Van Jones. It's about doing it every day, every week, and every month. The movement is about turning fear into courage, pain into dignity, and anger into hope, words into action. I have been fighting for justice in Venice for a long time, but the fight is bigger than Venice. We are fighting for our country. Corporations like GE think they don't have to pay taxes. Politicians like Mitt Romney thinks that they can buy and sell democracy. Big banks like Wells Fargo think they can steal our homes. We must prove them wrong. We must prove them wrong. Being a member of the 99% isn't about where we've been. It's about where we all need to go together. It's about having a vision, value, and justice, where the government works for us, all of us, when where corporations are not people. We need to do more than hope for change. We need to be the change. We are the 99%, and we are for the 100%. Thank you, and enjoy your evening.
That's a real true shero, true heroine. So look, she reminds me of Fannie Lou Hamer, who helped to lead the fight in her day. Thank you very much.